A beauty mogul tells Columbo to send a message to his brother-in-law. A wine expert gets one last drink. A psychology expert laughs at his own arrest. These moments don't happen during the gotcha, they happen after. Everyone remembers Columbo's gotcha moments, the pause, the look, the realization that it's over. But the most revealing part of Columbo does not happen when the case is solved. It happens in the minutes that follow. Today, I'm looking at the moments that happen just after Columbo catches the killer. Scenes that don't just wrap up the plot, but quietly tell us who these people really are once there's nothing left to hide. And stick around till the end. I've got a couple of honourable mentions that almost make the list, including one that completely flips the interaction between the lieutenant and the murderers. If you're new here, Columbo is a classic 1970s detective series built around a simple twist. We usually see the murder happen at the start, so we know who did it. But the tension isn't who committed the crime, it's watching the bumbling, dishevelled Lieutenant Columbo quietly wear down the killer until they make one mistake too many. In a lot of the episodes, we get the gotcha and then boom, credits roll. Case closed, episode done. At the same time, Columbo isn't like CSI or Law & Order. We don't see the courtroom drama or the legal aftermath. That uncertainty is part of the show's DNA. So we've already watched the killer commit the crime and spend the entire episode trying to outthink Columbo. Sometimes we even follow the motive as it forms. But it's often these brief moments after the gotcha, when the game is over, that reveal the most.
What? The Marino brothers have made me an offer. Accepting it.
Marino brothers? The Marino brothers! They don't make wine. They don't even make good mouthwash.
But they make money, huh?
First up in my post-gotcha list is Any Old Port in a Storm. This is a fan favourite and I can certainly see why. Donald Pleasant's meticulous persona, that secretary dying to be Carsini's wife, Columbo getting a taste of his own medicine at times. It's a great episode. With 6 minutes to go, Columbo has already revealed the killer's mistake. When Carsini switches off the aircon in the wine cellar and leaves his brother-in-law, Rick, to suffocate, the high temperatures oxidized and destroyed the wine. Columbo set him up by having one of those wine bottles served in the restaurant they go to, knowing that Carsini would taste the difference. He also knew that Carsini would destroy the wine sooner or later. Cue the gotcha face. Okay, so the gotcha moment has happened, but the emotional situation isn't settled. The killer is a man who lives for wine. It's his identity, his pride, his entire sense of self. That's what got him caught in the first place. So now he's heading to jail, where he'll lose that one thing he truly cares about. So we have an unresolved tension. What becomes of a man whose life is built on something he can no longer touch? So, in the car ride to the station, Columbo stops the car, pours 2 glasses of wine, and shares one with the man he's caught for murder. Not only that, but it's a great choice of wine too. Shows how much Columbo learned in the hour and a half at the winery.
What can you do in an hour and a half?
Oh, just the very basics.
Columbo never really celebrates catching a killer. He just quietly accepts what has to happen next in the name of justice. Even if Columbo hadn't caught him, Carsini knew that he had to get rid of the wine because it was ruined. It had been oxidized. So Carsini had already lost his life's work before he's even been arrested. And now he's not going to get any good wine in jail either. So why rub it in?
I took the liberty of bringing along a surprise.
That's an excellent dessert wine.
This one feels deeper than the usual money, sex, or jealousy motives. It's about a man whose entire identity was tied to his craft. And Columbo chooses to respect that passion. So not only was the toast for the fact that he is not going to get good wine in jail, but it's also compassion for the fact that he's just destroyed his life work. And he's not super rich, remember? His money was tied up in the vineyard, which is why Rick wanted to sell it in the first place. And finally, it shows Columbo's core truth. He catches murderers, but he never stops seeing them as human beings. How beautiful.
What's the matter, love? Are the police closed tonight for inventory?
You slimy little snake.
Oh, no, Vivi. I'm your hairy little teddy bear. Remember me?
Speaking of beauty, up next we have Lovely But Lethal, starring Vera Miles as the beauty mogul Vivica Scott. Vivica has built an entire empire on beauty, elegance and perfection. But when her former employee and lover, David Lessing, tries to blackmail her into making him a partner because he's stolen the formula to the best anti-wrinkle cream in the world, things get messy. And I do feel bad here because this murder wasn't premeditated. Vivica didn't ask to be blackmailed. She didn't plan to kill Lessing. One minute she's writing notes with her black eyebrow pencil, and the next she's bashing him over the head and covering up a murder. It's tragic, really. So throughout the episode, there's this poison ivy gag. We keep seeing Vivica scratch her hand. Columbo's scratching his hand too. We know it's connected somehow, but we just don't know how yet. And then comes the breakthrough. Columbo's brother-in-law, George. Yes, my favourite George. Watch my previous video on Columbo's family tree if you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, he comes back from a vacation in Mexico and he shows Columbo his slides. You know, holiday snaps. And suddenly it clicks for Columbo. Slides. The microscope slides from the crime scene. Both Vivica and Columbo got a rash because they had poison ivy on them, and it proves she was there. So, we get the gotcha moment. Columbo lays it all out. Vivica knows she's been caught.
Very good, Lieutenant.
So it could have ended there, but we get more. Two things happen that tell us about who Vivica Scott really is. First, she calls the officer herself.
Officer?
She doesn't wait to be arrested. She doesn't make a scene. And she summons the authorities with the same authority that she's used to run her empire. It's dignity, even in defeat. Second, and this is my favourite moment in the entire episode. Just before leaving with the officers, she stops, turns back to Columbo, and says,
Give your brother-in-law a message for me. Something appropriate.
She doesn't break down. She doesn't apologise. She doesn't even acknowledge what she's done. Instead, she takes one last shot at the guy who accidentally helped to catch her. If the episode had ended at the gotcha, at that intense stare, we would have missed all of this. And it reminds us that, yeah, the case is solved, but these are still people with pride, personality, and petty grievances that don't just disappear because they've been caught. And Columbo, he lets her have it. He lets killers preserve what dignity they have left, even if that dignity is a sarcastic insult aimed at poor George. This is another tiny insight into what happens after the case. We appreciate it because it's not what we come to Columbo for. We come to see how he figures it out. But it's nice to see these extended moments where everyone has finally dropped the facade and we can see who they really are.
Are you surprised?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
I'll bet you do.
If you're enjoying so far, don't forget to like the video and stick around for number 1. I promise you it is worth the wait.
Your innuendos keep clumping through our conversations like hobnailed boots. And if I didn't find you an extraordinarily amusing fellow, I might even be offended.
Next up, we have Double Exposure. Robert Culp, the man that you are. This time, he's playing Dr. Bart Keppel. Calm, logical, and an absolute genius in motivational research and subliminal advertising. So, he's killed a man who threatened to expose his dirty tactics to the district attorney, aka game over. What I love about this episode is that Columbo spends a lot of time researching and understanding Keppel's work. He talks to the projectionist, who Keppel also kills, by the way.
Doctor, don't fool around with that. Doctor, come on now.
Particular. And I believe that's where they found Mr. Norris's body.
Other industry professionals, does his own reading. It's a testament to Columbo's tenacity and intellectual curiosity. He doesn't just solve crimes, but he learns. And it certainly pays off because Columbo uses Keppel's own methods to catch him. He plants a false memory using subliminal techniques, tricking Keppel into revealing information only the killer would know. And when Columbo reveals this, the power dynamic flips. Cue the gotcha.
Finally got some hard evidence. What is that, Doctor?
Can I just say, this is Columbo's worst hiding spot ever, because if Culp had just turned around and closed the door, or to hang up his jacket, Columbo would have been seen immediately. But anyways, the gotcha has happened, but there's an unresolved question. How does a man who worships his own genius react to being beaten with his own methods?
Subliminal cut. You used a subliminal cut.
So, instead of collapsing, denying, or running, Keppel laughs. And not a polite chuckle either, a full, hysterical, disbelieving laugh. He looks at Columbo like he's witnessing the impossible.
You have to admit, you never would have solved it without using my technique.
I love this post-gotcha moment. I'm not sure his ego has processed what's just happened. He's the genius, he's the expert, but he just got outsmarted using his own techniques. So, does that mean he's still the smartest person in the room? Or does it mean he taught his own downfall? His sense of superiority is collapsing in on itself in real time. Columbo doesn't argue back, he just watches him unravel. And he even congratulates him.
If there was a reward, I'd support your claim to it.
If this episode had ended at the gotcha, we would miss this incredible psychological moment. We wouldn't see Keppel's brain short circuit as he tries to reconcile being beaten and brilliant at the same time. We wouldn't get to witness someone so arrogant that even in defeat, he's given himself credit. And we'd miss what makes Columbo so special. He studies people so deeply that he can turn their strongest traits into their downfall. Keppel's genius became his weakness because Columbo understood it better than Keppel thought anyone could. This post-gotcha scene is the reward for us viewers, a psychological payoff, not just a procedural one. It's not enough to see him in handcuffs. We want to see how his mind handles it. And the answer is barely. And this actually ties into one of the honourable mentions later, because not every killer reacts with anger, panic, or even guilt. So stick around.
Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. Petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death.
If it were done when it is done, then well it would be done quickly. Let's catch a flight to London for Dagger of the Mind, starring Richard Basehart and Honor Blackman as Nicholas Frame and Lillian Stanhope, who are hoping to reverse their acting decline by wowing crowds with their rendition of Macbeth. Initially funded by the super rich Sir Roger Havisham, he has finally seen through Lily's flirtatious behaviour and tries to put a stop to it. Well, instead, he dies. Accidentally, once again, but he's dead, leaving his poor butler, Tanner, without a job. These two theatrical murderers believe they can outperform, out-dramatise, and outstalk anyone. Initially, I felt sorry for Lily, but that wears off pretty quickly. As the episode goes on, both of their egos get more and more inflated. Well, their names are about to go on the headlines for other reasons. Visiting Lieutenant Columbo cracks the case, noticing inconsistencies in their behaviour. Why did the deceased bend the spine of an £1,000 book he was reading? Where are his reading glasses? So Columbo cracks the case, this time by planting some evidence. Gotcha.
By Jove.
Considering how theatrical they were to begin with, the question becomes, how will they react once they've been caught? What more can we get beyond the initial "I've been caught" face? And boy, do we get one. Poor Nicky has got a complete mental breakdown. He starts laughing uncontrollably and then starts performing Macbeth.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
We also see the dynamic between the husband and wife, Lily looking after and defending her husband.
Don't be too hard on Lily.
Then we see them arrested in front of their fans. The scandal is part of the scene. They spent the whole episode acting their way out of trouble. And in the end, they go down like characters in one of their own plays. We also learn about the setup. It was never luck. Columbo planted the pearl to catch them. For once, he even has an umbrella to actually match the raincoat. So, another set of killers beaten at their own game. This is a great post-gotcha scene because we learn about Columbo's methods, how other police officers react, and more about the next steps. While most of the time we are left to our own imaginations, this time we get a bit more rope. No pun intended. Before we get to number 1, there is one post-gotcha moment that didn't quite make the list, but is still worth talking about.
Lieutenant, you've taken an inordinate length of time to come to the point.
Now, this one is interesting because the killer doesn't react with dignity or arrogance. He just is relieved. So Roger Stanford has killed his uncle to prevent him from selling the family chemical plant. He rigs a bomb in a cigar case, which went off in the uncle's car. Columbo works it out and sets him up in the cable car, pretending that the cigar box was found intact at the crash site. When Roger realises that the cigars aren't going to explode, he completely unravels, laughing hysterically, grabbing at Columbo, almost giddy with the relief of not dying himself. I think it's pretty accurate, but it's not a triumph or regret that we see after the gotcha. It's a man who's finally come off of the brink and is grateful that he's alive. Okay, are you ready for number 1?
Suppose it was you.
I heard you say something, but I wasn't sure what
I
you
said suppose it was you.
You know you're an audacious fellow.
You see, I have a theory, and I would like to use you as an example.
Last but not least, and my personal favourite, Etude in Black. Maestro Alex Benedict has it all. A brilliant conducting career, wealthy and beautiful wife, and a passionate affair with an award-winning pianist, Jennifer Wells. But when Jennifer threatens to go to the media about their relationship unless he leaves his wife, his life takes a turn for the worst.
Well, it's a marvelous choice you've given me, to divorce my wife or you'll make a scandal out of our love affair.
So logically, he kills her. He can't afford to lose his marriage, quite literally. Without his wife, he loses everything. His reputation, his career, his house, all of it. Some incessant questioning and seemingly meaningless clues later, Columbo finally has hard evidence, Benedict's boutonniere. It wasn't on his lapel during the performance, but it was on during the press interview after leaving the crime scene, meaning he must have left it at Jennifer's house when he killed her and put it back on when the officers weren't looking. Side note, but I reckon Columbo had seen the flower already, and then when Benedict picked it up, Columbo realised. Anyways, fast forward to the end and they're all watching the playback of the concert on the big TV screen. Benedict, his wife, Columbo, some other officers. Columbo explains why Alex is guilty. The jig is up. Or is it?
Are you actually trying to pin this murder on me with that?
Yes.
I'm very disappointed in you, Columbo. Went into my dressing room, pinned on my flower after the concert.
It is. After seeing his wife debating on whether to lie for him, Alex drops the facade. The room shifts. He's no longer fighting Columbo, but he's watching the one audience member that mattered to him slip away. So, cue the gotcha. But we're not done yet. He gets a moment with his wife and then talks to the detective. He apologises to his wife for all of the gaslighting earlier on in the episode and says that he loves her. This is probably the most honest he's been in the entire episode. He then goes on to the lieutenant to give him his credit.
This is humiliating.
This is what? Humiliating is a crazy word to use in this situation. That word tells us so much about him. Even now, caught for murder, his concern is his image, reputation, how this looks. And then, after believing Columbo to be an annoying and unassuming insect throughout the entire episode, it was at this very moment where Benedict saw Columbo for the genius he truly was.
Goodbye, genius.
I mean, it's quite a graceful departure. He accepts the end with the conductor's composure. The elegance I guess he wanted to be remembered for. But my point remains. Without this post-gotcha scene, we wouldn't hear humiliating. That's one word that reveals everything about Alex's priorities. Is he showing his true colours at that final moment? Or is he saving face one last time? However you interpret it, we need that scene to understand who Alex really is. And that's Etude in Black. Thank you for watching. As always, please like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you thought, what other videos I should do, what angles you agreed and disagreed with, any episodes that I've missed, literally anything. Give me a comment and I will definitely reply. One more thing, I'll see you later.